This section of the video will cover the two Central Pierce Class 1 ES Smart displays. Road Rescue has produced this video to get you up to speed on the correct operation of both panels and allow you to get back to your very important everyday job of saving lives. We'll be covering the layout and design of the front or dash switch panel and the modular or rear switch panel to familiarize you with all of the features and functions. Both of these displays are an integral part of your Road Rescue life-saving ambulance and have been customized for the Central Pierce Fire Department. First, we will show you the layout and design, and then we will show you many of the actual operating steps in more detail. The Road Rescue Dash Panel is an ES key node utilizing a 1/4 VGA display with two multifunctional display switches that allow you to switch between what is shown in the display. It also has a master power switch, a module power switch, and 20 configurable switches with associated LED indicators. The Road Rescue Dash Panel displays the status of vehicle voltage, current draw, oxygen remaining, module temperature, time and date, door states showing you which doors are open, and video display of either the module camera or the backup camera. The title and warning block contains the text selected by Road Rescue. This block also shows warning information when applicable. A yellow bar with the warning description will be displayed over the normal title block. There are standard warning messages such as low voltage, low oxygen, climate offline, battery discharge, and high current. The voltage block displays the vehicle battery. The color of the graphic bar display indicates the range of the detected voltage. Green means the voltage is maintained within the normal range. Yellow means the voltage is below the user-defined low voltage point. And red means the voltage is greater than 15 volts. The lower icon block shows the state of shore power, emergency brake, and air ride dump. These icons are only visible when action has taken place. The sidebar icon block shows the state of module power and oxygen as long as there is 10% or greater remaining. If the oxygen drops below 10%, the oxygen icon will disappear and the low oxygen alarm will sound. The bottom icon is for the patient condition, also called the silent signal, and can be colored green, yellow, or red depending on the patient's condition. Now that we've shown you all of the features the front or dash smart displays contains, we will now show you how they function. First is the master power switch. It is used to operate the emergency lighting. Emergency lighting will not be energized unless the master power switch is depressed and the associated LED is illuminated. The green indicator lights up, and then the top row of switches light up, except for the preemption switch that controls compatible traffic lights because the emergency brake is on. If the vehicle is in neutral and you press the brake pedal, release the emergency brake, and place the vehicle into drive, the preempt switch will light up. Located at the far left in this row of switches is the primary-secondary switch that allows you to switch between primary and secondary emergency lighting. When in neutral and the emergency brake is set, the emergency lighting will be in secondary mode and the light will be green. When in secondary mode with the parking brake on, all forward-facing white lights will be turned off. When the parking brake is released, they will turn on again. To switch to primary emergency lighting, the emergency brake must be off and the transmission must be in gear. The color of the light will turn amber to indicate the primary position. Next is the flasher button that controls all the flashing lights on the module. They can be turned on or off. The preempt button controls the device that switches compatible traffic lights from red to green. The headlight flasher button controls whether the headlights are flashing or not. The headlight flasher will turn off when the headlight switch is in the on position, and also when the parking brake is activated. When the parking brake is released, the headlight flasher will reactivate if the headlight switch is in the off position. The master switch will default to off each time the system is reset. The module power switch is a bistable toggle switch, which is configured to enable and disable the module power. The module power is set to default on. To disable the module power, press and hold down the module power switch for 4 seconds and then release. To re-energize the module power, simply press the module power switch again. Moving across the top row of buttons just to the right of the display is the left flood or scene lights, which can be turned on or off. Next is the rear flood or scene lights, which can be turned on or off. These rear lights are also turned on automatically when the vehicle is placed in reverse or the rear doors are opened. The following button turns the right side flood or scene lights on or off. They can also be turned on by opening the right side door. The siren horn button allows you to switch between the chassis horn or the siren sound when tapping the horn. Moving down to the second row of buttons on the far left, the first 2 buttons have not been configured. The third position is the dump enable button. That allows the module to lower when activated, which makes loading or unloading the patient much easier. This switch has to be on, the emergency brake set, and the transmission be in neutral or park for the dump function to work. With this switch on, dumping or lowering can be activated simply by opening both rear doors. To raise the module back up, all you have to do is close the left or driver's side rear door. There is an auxiliary momentary air ride dump switch located on the curbside interior rear door panel in addition to the enable switch in the cab. The momentary switch will cancel the air dump when the rear doors are open and the switch is pressed. The system will reset when the doors are closed. It is wired to a 5-minute battery timer. The battery timer will allow the dump circuit to remain active for 5 minutes after the ignition has been turned off for patient unloading. The next switch is the video switch, which will show either the module or backup camera. When the transmission is placed in reverse, the backup camera will automatically show in the display and the backup alarm will sound. Going across the second row, we see that the next 3 switches have not been configured. The last switch in this row allows you to silence the backup alarm when desired. The alarm automatically resets, so the next time you go into reverse, it will sound again. Moving down to the bottom row of switches, the first switch turns the module dome lights on or off. Next is the multifunction display mode switch. This switch controls what is showing in the display and allows you to choose and set what is displayed. Pushing this button multiple times changes what is displayed. This section or block of the display switches to a control and information block that allows you to set the heating and air conditioning, set the time, check on oxygen remaining, or find out how much amperage is being drawn. When you push the display switch and this block turns into set environment control, for instance, new blocks show up just below to tell you which button underneath these blocks control what you desire to change. The function of these 4 buttons below the display change depending on which control menu you have selected. To view oxygen remaining, press the display mode switch until the oxygen level display mode is shown. To view amps or current draw, press the display mode switch until the amps or current draw display mode is shown. The control and information block shows the text amps with the numerical current draw value and a symbolic graph display below. When it is in the green, the current draw is normal, and when it is red, the current draw is greater than the alternator can supply. Now that we've covered the front display, we will move to the rear or module display. The Road Rescue Module or rear dash panel is an ES key node, utilizing an LED display with associated control switches and 16 configurable switches with associated bicolor, amber or green LED indicators. The display section of the panel can show oxygen remaining, module temperature, or a clock showing the current time, and can also be used as a timer, including elapsed time. The module switch panel in your Central Pierce ambulance has been customized to your specific needs. Starting on the top left is the switch for the dome lights. Next is the switch for the cot lights, and the switch for the bench lights is in the third position. The fourth switch has not been configured and is presently blank. The strip lights are next. This switch operates the strip lights in the overhead medical device rail, followed by the attendant light. The switch that operates the suction unit follows the attendant light, and the switch that operates the oxygen valve holds the last position in this row. The first switch in the bottom row controls the inverter. The inverter has its own control panel, and when it is on supplying AC power, the receptacle lights up to let you know that 110-volt AC power is ready to use. The next three switches are for letting the driver know the condition of the patient on the front or dash control panel. This is also known as the silent signal. It'll be either green, amber, or red, depending on the condition of the patient. The fifth button in the bottom row is for a buzzer when needed. The sixth button is not configured and is blank. The seventh button controls the exhaust fan. And the last button controls the light in the oxygen bottle compartment. Just to the right of these two rows of switches is the multifunction climate mode switch. It toggles between environmental systems modes, either manual or automatic. The four LEDs encompassing the climate mode switch indicate the state of the module environmental system, automatic or manual mode, fan low, fan medium, fan high, and off. The display mode switch selects the information that is shown in the LED display. The four amber LED indicators situated around the display mode switch to identify the current display mode. The timer mode selection switch has functions based on the selected display mode. While in timer display mode, the timer switch activates the count up or elapsed time timer. The timer switch is also used for climate controls. The up and down switches have multiple functions based on the display mode. When it is on temperature, the switches can adjust the set temperature, or when it is on clock, they can set the correct time. They can also be used to start and stop the elapsed timer. Select the oxygen remaining display mode by repeatedly pressing the display mode switch until the O2 LED is illuminated. Climate controls are also active in O2 display mode. The LED display shows the pounds per square inch, or PSI, of oxygen remaining.